All right. All right. Good morning, Stanley Knowles math students. I'm glad to be back with you again today. We're going to continue on with integer modeling for division and division with integers. I got to tell you, your work has been fantastic. I'm really excited, really impressed with the work that you've been doing on IXL and also by submitting your assignments. You've done a great job. Keep it up. And I know that your learning is going to be moving forward, even though we've been doing this through some tough times. Anyway, let's continue on today. So today there is an assignment that goes along with this. It involves modeling integer division, looking at how word problems can have positive and negative values. This assignment, I would say, is probably one of the more difficult ones. But what we're going to do today is just focus in on the models. And I want you to see that I have 3 questions laid out for you. You may want to take your time just to draw the first one out and do one at a time. But this one here obviously is going to involve just positive integers, and it's probably the easiest case. When you're looking at a model like this, you may be asked to identify what division statement or sentence does it stand for? Well, the way we do that is we always start with the very first integer we see here. And it looks like these are all positive values. And if you count them out or use the array, you can see that there are positive 8. So we're starting off with positive 8 here. Now, this is fairly straightforward, fairly clear, easy to see. The trouble might be for this one here. What division statement are you going to write here? Now, there's probably 2 ways that you could think of this. If you think back to the video lesson from yesterday or the day before when we talked about students going to the gym. If we take a look at this one here, there's 8 of them. If we think again of students, and there's probably 2 ways that you might approach this one, because there's 2 equal groups. There's 2 equal groups. But the other thing that's also true is that there are positive 4 in each group. There's positive 4 in each group. So the big question then is, are we going to think of it in terms of groups? Or are we going to think of it as what we see in each group? And the answer to that is it depends. It depends on the context, and it depends on what you are reading. I'll give you another example. Eggs don't come usually in cartons of 8, but let's just say, for example, you're out shopping. Actually, let's use a better example. Let's use toilet paper rolls. Toilet paper rolls are a better example for right now because you can't find toilet paper anywhere in Winnipeg. People are buying toilet paper like crazy. Let's say you have a package of 8 rolls of toilet paper, a package of 8 rolls of toilet paper, or you have 8 rolls of toilet paper all together, and it's been grouped into 2 equal groups. So you have 2 packages inside the package. This picture would be what you started with if you said, let's take all the toilet paper and package it into 2 equal groups. It would look like this, and there'd be 4 in each group. But you could also come up with the starting point to a word problem or a question that would be something like, take your 8 and put them into groups of 4. Take your 8 rolls of toilet paper and put them into groups of 4. This picture would still work for that as well, because there would be groups of 4 and there'd be 2 groups, and now our answer would be the 2 groups. So the correct answer for this one is it depends. So we could divide it into 2 equal groups, and there would be 4 in each group, and that would be correct. Or you could also relate that to dividing it into groups of 4, dividing it into groups of 4 or sub-packages of 4, and then we would have 2 of those groups, 2 of those equal groups. So this one is 4 in each group. The second division statement is 2 equal groups. So the answer is it kind of depends. Now, when we get to negative integers, like our second example here, b, it's a little bit different. So again, how are we going to figure out what division statement does this model stand for? What division statement does this model stand for? Well, again, the first step we know is we're starting off with -6 of something. So we know it's going to be -6. We can also see that there are 1, 2, 3 negatives in each group. There's 1, 2, 3 negatives in each group. So we could look at it like splitting it up into groups of -3. And if so, then our answer has to be +2. And the answer is, in this case, we're talking about the number of groups. There's 2 groups of -3 in this model. Any questions? Okay, just stop, think about it for a second. But it would also be equally true if we started off with the -6 and we said, let's divide it into 2 equal groups. Let's divide it into 2 equal groups. Divide into 2 equal groups. But in that case, our answer would not be the number of groups. It would be, what do we see in each group? And in each group, there's -3 in each group. So division is a little bit tricky. I know this can be a little confusing, but I want you to really put your thought toward this. And the more you think about it and you listen very clearly to how I'm wording these things, it'll start to become clear. So let's see if we can do something and we can show what -15 divided by -5 could look like. What could -15 divided by -5 look like? Now I'm going to share with you a little cheat. Whenever I have to do the modeling, if I'm not sure how to do it, I rely on the rules. So I know a negative divided by another negative is going to be a positive. And 15 divided by 5 is 3. So somehow I want to be able to show 3 in my group in here. Now in this case, the only way to show that it's 3, the only way to show that it's 3 is if I'm dividing my -5, because this time when I'm creating the model, I don't know how many groups there are going to be. I don't know how many groups there are going to be. That information comes after. What I do know is, because it's a negative, that I'm making groups of -5. So in this one, there's only one answer. This one, the answer has to look like -15 being split up into groups of -5. I'm going to try to really, let's zoom in on this a little bit. I'm going to try really hard to make this all fit. So since we are starting off with negatives, this one has to account for that. And the only way to show this model is by splitting up into -5 in each group. It has to be -5 in each group. And then our answer then is, there are 3, or we could say +3 groups, because that's the only way for our model to support the rules. If we were to draw this like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then we're creating 5 groups. We're creating +5 groups doing that, but we don't have +5 in our sentence. So since we don't have +5 in our sentence, we have to be able to do it this way. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. Like I said, I know it's a little tricky. I want you to go back and work really hard. I want you to go back and work really hard to try to complete the assignment that goes along with this one. The word problems need to be read very carefully. So I'm actually going to give you 2 days to do this assignment. This one's not going to be due until for a couple days, because there's more work to do. all right? And you really need to be careful. So tomorrow's lesson is actually going to be just plain old IXL practice. So tomorrow you're going to see IXL assignments online, just with instructions, and that will be your assignment, is just to practice. I'm going to give you the same sort of thing. I'm going to give you 100 marks for getting that practice done so that you can submit the assignment on Division and to do it really well. And pay attention to the videos, because there's always going to be a few questions that have to do with just paying attention to the video. All right. So have a great day today. I hope that you do well on this. Keep on trying, giving it your best shot. Don't forget to write things down, because that's going to help you to remember. So have a great day with this, and let me know if you have any questions. And I'm looking forward to seeing your work.